In today's video, we're going to take a look at cold fermented pizza dough. How to do it right, what can go wrong, and whether it's worth it at all. Is it really that much better than regular dough? Stick around to find out. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to show you two simple recipes using cold fermented dough. I'll be using the direct method, so there's no need for pre-fermented dough. No poolish, no biga. Let's start with the first one. For this 24-hour dough recipe, I'm using Caputo Pizzeria flour. It has 13 grams of protein and a W rating of 260 to 270, which makes it a medium-strength flour, ideal for shorter fermentation times, up to 24 hours. For two dough balls, each weighing 200 grams, I measure out 240 grams of flour, 150 grams of icy water, 0.6 grams of yeast, and 7 grams of salt. I'm making smaller pizzas here, but you can tweak the recipe to your needs in the pizza app. For a 12-inch pizza, you'll need dough balls weighing about 270 to 280 grams each. Make sure to enable the cold temperature (CT) setting in the app's menu. Same as last time, I'm hand mixing the flour, water, and yeast until the dough reaches around 22 degrees Celsius. Then I add the salt and a little olive oil, finishing the mix at 23 to 24 degrees Celsius. This should take about 10 minutes. While I'm doing all this, let's talk a bit about cold fermentation. Since yeast is a living organism, it's highly sensitive to temperature. It gets really active above 25 degrees Celsius, releasing a lot of CO2 and breaking down the flour quickly. Cold temperatures, on the other hand, slow down its metabolism. This makes the yeast less active, so the proofing process takes much longer than at room temperature. Longer fermentation times result in dough with a softer texture and a slightly tangy, sour flavor. To get good results, though, you'll need slightly stronger flour, something with a W rating of around 300. Stronger flour withstands the breaking down effects of yeast better, ensuring the dough remains elastic and easier to handle. Using weaker flours might leave you with dough that's too soft and prone to tearing instead of stretching when you try to shape it. Okay, so the mixing is done. Rest the dough for 20 minutes. After that, I'll give it one stretch and fold, then let it rest for another 20 minutes before portioning it out. Sometimes, I see advice on forums suggesting you need to do 3 to 5 stretch and folds to ensure the dough rises properly. But in reality, stretch and folds don't directly affect proofing. Their main purpose is to improve the dough's structure and gluten development, not its rise. In my opinion, if you're using the right flour and the right amount of active dry or fresh yeast, you don't need to bother with so many folds. But hey, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to test this theory in a future video. Okay, so the balls are done. Keep them at room temp for 2 to 3 hours to help the yeast get started. After that, put them in the fridge for 20 hours. For the second recipe, you can use any stronger flour with a W rating above 300, such as Caputo Cuoco, Caputo Nuvola Super, Caputo Sacchoroso, or 5 Stagioni Pizza Napoletana. Since I don't have any of those at home right now, I'm going to use Caputo Pizzeria mixed with a very strong Manitoba-type flour. To do that, go to the app settings and enable Flour 2. Now we have Flour 1 and Flour 2. You can even name them for simplicity. I set the ratio to, let's say, 25 to 75%. Then increase the cold temp CT time to 44 hours, and we're ready to go. I've kept the hydration moderate, so I don't think I'll need more than 25% Manitoba. This is a good trick to make any weaker flour a bit stronger. For two dough balls, I measure out 60 grams of strong Manitoba flour, 180 grams of pizzeria flour, 150 grams of icy water, and 0.33 grams of yeast. Then I do everything exactly the same way as I did with the first recipe, but this time I'm going to leave the dough tray in the fridge for 2 days. Thanks to the magic of editing, I can show you how both recipes look after fermentation. Recipe 1 has been in the fridge for 20 hours, while recipe 2 has been in there for 44 hours. I pre-made both doughs for you and took the trays out about 2 hours ago to let them come to room temperature. As you can see, there's not much of a difference between them. Both look nicely proofed. The oven is ready, so I'll start with the one-day-old dough. Take it out, stretch it, add the toppings, and launch it into the oven. Next up, the two-day-old dough. Take it out, give it a few gentle slaps, add some sauce and cheese, and into the oven it goes. And, drum roll please, let's check out the final results and compare them side by side. For this, I asked my wife to guess which pizza was which based on taste and label them with small stickers. 24 hours and 48 hours. To keep it fair, I hid the actual labels under the plates. After tasting both, she got it right. She correctly identified the 24-hour and 48-hour doughs. Interestingly, while she thought the 48-hour pizza looked better, with its beautiful leoparding on the crust, she preferred the taste of the 24-hour pizza for its more balanced flavor and lighter texture. She even placed a heart-shaped sticker next to her favorite, the 24-hour pizza. To sum it up, we couldn't find much difference in taste, but the crust on the 24-hour dough felt lighter and less chewy. On the other hand, the 48-hour pizza looked better with a more authentic appearance. The next day, I tried the leftovers, and the differences held up. The 24-hour pizza stayed lighter and easier to tear, while the 48-hour one remained chewier and slightly gummy. In theory, the longer fermentation of the 48-hour dough should have made it lighter, but perhaps the addition of Manitoba flour caused the difference. I'm not entirely sure. It'll need more experimenting in the future. As for the baking process, both pizzas baked for 3.5 minutes at the oven's highest setting, around 350 to 400 degrees Celsius. The 24-hour dough crisped up slightly better, while the 48-hour one stayed softer but was still well baked. The cross-section of both pizzas looks great, with no major differences on the bottom crust. We baked 2 pizzas from each recipe, so you can see the results laid out on the table. Both recipes work beautifully and taste fantastic. Let us know in the comments which one you'd choose, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.